All right, everybody, welcome back to another, the third episode of Crypto Connoisseurs, and we're still searching for the perfect name. Really, I love the name Crypto Connoisseurs, but actually, whenever I try to write it to somebody, I never know how to spell connoisseurs, so it's not the easiest thing to do. So let's think of an easier name. So we're still doing that, and so feel free to submit those names for the show and also for the giveaway. Let's get these crypto cases is what we still have, and I will go back into this halfway through the show, and there's some other opportunities, some giveaways on this show, and so make sure you stay tuned. Toward the middle or 3/4 through, we'll go back into some other ways that you can get some extra things in the meantime. But I want to jump into it because some of our guests have a limited amount of time, and I want to hear their opinions about the overall market sentiment, and I'm sure actually you guys do as well. And so let's bring in some micro and some macro analysts, and let's see what is going on in the market because we got a pump today. Let's bring on our guest, Carl, all the way from the moon. Carl, how's it going, buddy?
Hello, it's going very, very well. I'm super happy about crypto. I don't really care if it goes up or down. I think that the industry is evolving, and I see more and more people joining. And whether we're in a correction or not, I think that the industry as a whole is always going up. So I'm very happy about it, and I'm very happy to be on the show.
Very happy to have you, man. It's been a while. Yeah, Carl was out here living with us in Thailand for a while, and hopefully we have you back here soon. Since House of Dao is launching a couple of days here, got a villa with your name on it, bud.
Very nice. I will be there.
And another guest that was at the original House of Dao concept. If you guys do not know this man, maybe this will refresh your memory.
In 2017, Didi Taihutu decided to radically change his and his family's life. He wanted to downsize and live a minimalistic lifestyle with few possessions. The vehicle to finance this new life, he decided, would be cryptocurrencies. Taihutu sold almost all of his possessions and invested that money in Bitcoin.
Didi, welcome to the show, buddy. That's an old video, huh?
The Italian stallion bathrobe. I love it.
You look like you're about to go to a boxing match, man.
Yeah, it was Wall Street style. It needed to be American style. You need to have a bathrobe or flip flops in the winter in the Netherlands on a campsite. So yeah, that's a long time ago, but it was a beautiful time. The start of the whole adventure. Yeah, it was.
It looked like you're straight walking through a trailer park there.
Yeah, that's the place where we moved to. We sold the house and the companies, and I went living on a trailer park for 3-4 months. Yeah, and then we started moving all over the world. By now, 42 countries. Visited, of course, House of Dao. At that time, we still had another name. Won't mention it anymore, but on Kopangan, that is where we met, man. And the adventure since that has been turning around all over the world, and stranger and stranger and stranger. And this year, 2021, is the year that all those puzzle pieces are falling on their place for all of us. And I think there is not a much more beautiful year to live than that.
It is an exciting year. It's very, very exciting. And last guest for today is a man who this entire bull run was kicked off by DeFi season. And if there was one project that grabbed the attention of everybody at the very, very beginning of our initial DeFi summer, it was this man who started it, JP from Mantra Dao. JP, welcome, buddy.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me on. It's literally been like exactly 1 year since I was sitting here talking to you directly, Kyle, and asking you to invest in this new project that we were creating. And come full circle since then. I'm happy to be here. Awesome to see what you guys have been up to as well. All kinds of crazy stuff. I did not know House of Dao was opening, but they're reducing the restrictions on traveling from Hong Kong. So I will be down there.
Sweet, man.
Hope I get a villa down there with my name on it too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's huge. There's 400 villas, so
awesome.
it'll fit a portion of the crypto community. but we plan on expanding out to all over the place.
We'll bring some Mantra Sherpas down there.
Yeah, please do, man. I mean, it's going to be really, really exciting. We have some. Actually, I just saw, like, completely random. I think on Twitter today, I saw that you guys are doing like a weekly lifestyle thing, which is amazing because we're doing something similar too. We're calling it Saturday sessions, but basically once a week we just kind of you go, brother. Yeah, so I love it, man. I love that, you know, Carl shares his life, you know, mostly through like Instagram and things like that, and Didi's, of course, like, you know, people making documentaries about him, and he's got his YouTube channel, and then, you know, like JP, you and myself, who are who are really building projects ourselves, are very transparent about, you know, and I started to watch the first episode, and I think a couple of comments I saw, and I think a lot of things that people will appreciate from like yourself or myself is like the brutal honesty and transparency of the good times and the bad times, man. And you know, a lot of projects don't want to tell people about the struggle, but man, the struggle is real, right? Like,
it is indeed.
So,
it is indeed.
It is indeed. Okay, so these are our guests here, and someone's got like a vacuum going back there or something. Okay, let's get into. I want to ask, like, what the hell is going on with the markets, you know? And so Didi, I noticed that you actually started doing some technical analysis, which blew my mind. But the master of TA we have here is Carl, and Carl, like, you know, most people know you for, you know, kind of short-term technical analysis. You know, people rely on your calls often for, I don't know if it's advice, but it's basically what you believe is kind of happening on the market based on your calls. And I know that you posted something recently that was quite controversial. I read the comments on your post, and people, I think if you're looking at, you know, I think that someone like Didi or myself would have probably been, you know, very, very, like that would have made perfect sense to us, right? But here's Carl's tweet. And Carl, why don't you tell us a little bit about like what, you know, what was the intention of it, and how did you come to these conclusions?
Yeah. So, well, to be perfectly honest, this tweet, it's I wouldn't necessarily call it like classic technical analysis. It's not like it's a pattern or an indicator. It's more like speculation based on previous. It is technical analysis, but it is more. I take the history and I just extrapolate into the future, and that gives us a few interesting points to look at. So looking at the highs, looking at the lows, some multi-year support, and also looking at the distance from the cycle low to the cycle high. So if you look at the lines down there where it says X amount of weeks, that's the amount of weeks that we had to wait for in the first cycle, from the cycle low, the lowest point of the bear market, up to the cycle top, which was $1,000 back in what was that, 2013 approximately.
Yeah.
And the next cycle, you can same there, measured from the low to the next top. The cycle was much longer. It was a much longer period of time. So the speculation I did here is that we have the cycles are getting longer. I think that what we're seeing right now is very unlikely to be the top, because it doesn't really make sense that we top out right now in terms of not only the time, because it should maybe be much further in towards 2022. That's when we are probably going to see the top. And also I think that, which I didn't mention in the tweet, but the way we topped out now does not resemble, in my opinion, a bull cycle top. We always, whether it's Bitcoin or uranium or gold or whatever stock out there, you look at these hype cycles, bubbles, they always end with a bang, with a big blow off top, and then we see a subsequent crash. We didn't see that. We just saw Bitcoin go up, and then we saw a little bit of bearish divergence, and we started to top out, and we rolled over in a very slow way, and then we've seen a correction now, and actually what we're seeing now is exactly what I've always been telling people ever since what was that? Well, let's say when we broke above 35,000 or something, 35,000, that's when I started to tell people that, guys, we've been going up far too fast. We need a correction. And what I told people is that before we reach 100,000, we will see a 50 to 60% correction. And people said I was crazy because people said, well, that never happened before. That didn't happen in the previous cycle. And they said that if that happens, then we're not in a bull market anymore. Well, actually, if you go way back into the first cycle we had, then we did actually see a double pop, a double bubble, or whatever you want to call it. And the first correction there was actually brutal. I think, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was way more than 50% correction.
72.
Yeah. So it happened before. And yeah, but now we saw a 55% correction now. I think that this is very healthy. We've weeded out a lot of the speculation. I think we had too many meme coins going up 1,000x. We had too many random, coins that were created simply for the sake of pumping the bags of the people who just created the coin. Because, of course, you want to create a coin when everything is pumping 1,000x. And too many people did that, so we had too many new coins coming out, and coins that lack fundamentals and pump 1,000x like this. It just to me indicates the top of a altcoin cycle. So I believe that we've seen the end of the altcoin cycle for now. That doesn't mean that altcoins can come back soon, but I think that right now we are not going to see much from altcoins in the next few months. I think that Bitcoin has to start picking up momentum again, and then I think altcoins will they will get pulled up by Bitcoin. But in terms of Bitcoin value, I think altcoins are not going to see any extraordinary returns over the next 6 to 12 months. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think Bitcoin has not topped out. I think Bitcoin is going to continue the bull market, if you want to call it that, or the bull cycle more accurately, because I think we can be in a bear market within the bull cycle, because I think right now we are in a bear market on the daily time frame. It's only when you go out to the weekly time frame where you can see that we're still actually technically in a bull market. We're still above key support, and we're just creating a low here. But I would say that, bear market on the daily, bullish on the weekly, and overall bullish if you scroll out, because we are still in the bull cycle. It literally makes no sense that this would be the end of the bull cycle, in my opinion.
What about this pump that we're seeing literally right now as we speak? I mean, we just today we've seen let's see, what is Bitcoin's at, just past 36K, right? So we're at had a nice pump, and I mean we've been ranging back and forth, right, between 30 and 42K, well 28 and 42K for a while now, right? 6 weeks or something. When do you guys feel like we're actually going to, and I mean, I don't know technical analysis at all, right? But from what I keep hearing, 42K is that resistance level that we need to break through for things to change. Is that true? And what's going on right now? And how long will that take, do you think?
Yeah, 42, 43, that's my big level as well. That's the daily resistance. If you look back, you will see that that's where we have some daily resistance. So I am bearish on Bitcoin on the daily time frame until we break above that level. And when we do break above that level, I will flip completely bullish on Bitcoin. What we're seeing right now is just a short-term pump. It's on the 1 hour, 4 hour time frame, and it's amazing, but it's not enough for me to think we're going to see a big bullish reversal. In fact, if you look at it, what we are seeing right now is a bear flag. We're consolidating in a bear trend. So if you have to pick a direction, then we are actually bearish in that sense. But I mean, if someone from outside would come in, someone who doesn't understand Bitcoin, someone who's completely neutral. They would say, yeah, we're in a bear trend, we have a bear flag, and it looks like we're going to go down. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and it's the best form of money in the history of humans. So it's not necessarily the case that we have to go down.
Didi, you were always a
Hey, what?
what is that?
That's all these birds. I'm at the sea here, so I have these things flying out.
Seagulls, yeah.
Seagulls.
So, and guys, sorry about the Shiba Inu graphic up. I sometimes the StreamYard is broken. I clicked it because we were talking about crap coins, and I just wanted to pull it up real quick, but I didn't see it on my screen. So, apologize about that. So, Didi, I mean, like from what I've always known, you know, historically, we've always been very fundamentally focused on Bitcoin, right? But you've the last couple of videos of yours I watched, you did some technical analysis, and I'm wondering, you know, I had always been skeptical on technical analysis, especially in such a nascent market like crypto, where, you know, I felt like manipulation is so easy to do. You know, what have you learned, and why did you start doing it? And do you feel like it helps you, or what was the purpose of you know, starting to get more into technical analysis?
It's quite easy. You know what? I made videos already for 2 years on YouTube, and they were all beautiful family videos, and they were professionally edited by companies. And I took a lot of time to make those videos, you know, to travel to countries and visit companies and visit cities where I could spend Bitcoin, but I didn't get views. And then I met Carl and Chris on Copenhagen at that time, and they told me, not, but that is not what you get views with. You get views with technical analysis and talking about charts. So I started to think at that time. And at that time, I thought, okay, so if I want to get my message out of the true fundamentals of Bitcoins, I first need to build a community that wants to watch my videos. So you always fish at the place where you want to catch fish. There's no use to go fishing in the Sahara, because there I won't catch the fish. So I need to fish at the sea, because there the biggest whales are floating around. So that is when I started to add the charts to my YouTube videos, and when the numbers started to grow. So for me, the talking of TA is to fish in those people that just come into the industry because of money, like we all did from the beginning of on. All of us just came into Bitcoin because we thought we became a millionaire. So then you go thinking, marketing, technical, okay, you focus first on those people that come in, you fish them in, and then you try to transform the mindset into becoming a true Bitcoin revolutionist, fundamentalist, but at the same time understand that money that is coming because of the profits they make in trading, they reinvest in decentralizing the world. So projects like now Paid Network, projects like all the other networks, they need funding. They need it to start. So I need to have people making profit to invest in those projects to decentralize the fuck out of the world. I don't want this unhonest world anymore. And apparently, 99% of the people or sheeple still run after greed and money and live out of fear. So we need to catch them there. That's where you catch them. That is where you educate them. I agree with Carl on the charts hugely, but you know, for me, if you look at the alt market cap without Bitcoin, that chart, you can see that is clearly a top of the bull market. The Bitcoin chart is not showing that top of the bull market. I can show you the chart if you want, but today I posted a chart which is really cool that you can see if you count.
You can share. You can share your screen if you want.
Can I share my screen over here? Let's see. Then I'm going to, then I need to open it, I think, in Chrome, because it doesn't allow me.
Yeah, go for it. While you do that, let's ask JP a question. Yeah. JP, like, how, as somebody who's building a project, you know, how much are you focused on markets, right? How much are you focused on price action? You know, how tuned in are you, and how is that relevant to, you know, the product that you're building?
Yeah, I mean, good question. First and foremost, I think project founders have to realize that if they're launching their token, a token is a part of a product. It's one of your products, like your lending platform, like your staking platform, like your launchpad, like whatever you're building. The token is a product in and of itself. So you always got to remember that. But at the same time, you can't get too caught up, at least on your token price, because you'll go insane. You'll feel like shit, and you're going to get called a lot of names, and you have to have a thick skin about it. We talked about the time when we launched. We launched like in the frenzy of both kind of DeFi summer and Polkadot hype, because that was right when Polkadot launched. We actually coincidentally launched our token the exact same day of dot transferability, which was August 18th. Not coincidentally, we did that on purpose. But there was just a lot of like hype going on about both of these movements at that time, right? And then DeFi summer bubble popped like 2 weeks after we launched, and we just got tanked. And everyone's like, well, you're a scammer. You took all my money. You this or that, or that. And it's just, if you let that get in the way of actually what you're building, and not having conviction in yourself, your team, and kind of the vision that you have for the project, that can be like really, really stressful. It can be really, really lonely. And people are ruthless, man. I mean, like, you've seen it too. And you had that whole scenario a couple months back, and you took some heat, and you stood up there and you took it, and look at what you guys are doing now. It came back stronger than ever. So price is important. We don't talk about it publicly in terms of what we're doing. Obviously, we want the best for our token holders, but at the same time, we're more focused on building projects. I think both Carl and Didi mentioned that altcoin top might be in. We use the expression real builders build in the bear. So that's when you're going to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, and the bullshit projects are going to go away, and the ones that are actually going to be able to find product market fit, actually make revenue, actually make money, build a community, build users. Those are the ones that are going to survive in the long run. I think that just as well as anyone. So that's 100%. my two ohm on that one.
Thank you. All right, Didi, here you go, Didi. All yours, buddy.
So if you look at the chart, Kyle, this is like Kyle, this is the total market cap, but without Bitcoin. So this looks to me like a blow off top. This looks like a 2017 top. Can you see the spikes, bam, and then we drop, bear trap, down. So if you go back to 2017 in the cap, you see exactly the same. You see this blow off top coming down. If we took a look at just Bitcoin, then it's completely different, because the Bitcoin chart is showing, give me 1 second, and then I need to share another market. So this one, the total, this is including Bitcoin. This is not the blow off top. This again finding that support around that Fibonacci retracement level that we all see every time. That blue line that we also saw in 2017, before that we had that huge drop run, was over here. And then we got that huge parabolic run. So for me, Bitcoin still needs to make the parabolic run. And that also makes it for me that I don't believe that the top of the bull run is in, but also not for the altcoins. Because in my opinion, that wouldn't not be possible. If Bitcoin would go up to 150 to 200K by, for example, I will just share that one with you now, because of the Elliott wave count, then the altcoin market should be going up as well. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. So if you count the Elliott waves, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. We need wave 5. So this is nothing. We had wave 3 and wave 4, and yes, wave 3 is the biggest of the 5, but wave 5 still needs to happen. And if it would happen according this line, then we could come between 100 and 280K Plan B's target, of course. So for me, we are definitely not at the end of the bull market. We are fully in the bull market. And if Bitcoin reaches the top, then I think the altcoins will also reach the top. Because I can't believe that projects like Paid and all the DeFi industry projects and all the other ones, that they now saw the top. We are just beginning. The people now just understand it. The first 6 months, they were like, what is happening? What is staking? They now get the hang of it. They now understand what we are building. They now understand how we decentralize the world by creating beautiful projects. And they will now start invest because they can buy in cheaply into Bitcoin. You know, and we still have the billionaires and we still have the countries. We have a country. Sorry, guys, I talked too much.
I'm actually getting into that right now, because this is a question that I really want to ask you guys. And This is, Carl, this is actually something that I know that, behind the scenes, something that you're working on. And Carl, people want to know a couple questions. One, where are you going? And two, doesn't look like you're driving a McLaren. You're muted.
Yeah, on the first point, I'm going to the moon as always.
Uh-huh.
And on the second point, yeah, the McLaren has to stay home now because I'm going to help my mom get her boat. It's a sailboat, like an old vintage sailboat, back home. It's like, yeah, long story, but that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna do some sailing, and
Nice.
that will be amazing. It's beautiful here in Sweden to do some boating.
Very nice. Okay, let me show you this clip real quick.
Yep.
So to pay with Bitcoin, I got to get my phone out. So I have the Bitcoin Beach wallet.
Okay.
And I have Strike. But I have no money in either of them.
Let's go to receipt.
Uh-huh. So you sent me $10 in Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay, so now I can send it to her.
Yeah.
By scanning her QR code.
Yeah.
Which is here. Okay. That's it.
Cold brew with Bitcoin, brother.
Cheers.
Welcome to Bitcoin Beach.
Okay, that's nice. So my question is this: it's I mean, there's so much going on from an adoption perspective of Bitcoin. We have El Salvador and all the other countries that are proposing to make it legal tender, and Mexico and all these things that's going on right now. But in that example right there, I mean, how feasible is it to expect a country that is very poor to start off with for them to actually use Bitcoin to pay for a cup of coffee?
Yeah, so I think that obviously as Bitcoin works today, it's not usable for buying a cup of coffee. We all know the transaction fees and also the time it takes to make a transaction. We need second layer solutions. I mean, of course, the Lightning Network is something that people are talking about. And I've been talking about it for a long time as well, but it seems like the development is just going slower than people maybe expected. I always said that I don't think Lightning Network is going to be anything we're going to use for the next at least 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 to 10 years, because it seems like it takes too much time to develop. But I really hope that they can solve all the problems that they're working on, and that we can use the Lightning Network just as easily as we can use emails today, right?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it about Lightning Network. I've met Lightning Network developers. Like, yeah, no, we use it already right now, and it's like I can understand why it's not more mainstream used yet. But anyway, that's.
Yeah. I couldn't say that I'm an expert on Lightning Network, but I understand that so far it's not safe to send bigger transactions. So they have like a cap on that. And there are other things that they're trying to solve. How to get back into Lightning Network, or like in and out of Lightning Network, is not as easy as you would want it to be. So there are a few problems, but that will be solved, I think. Or maybe it's another second layer solution. But yeah, so me and my friends, we're working on a solution to do off-chain transactions, just like Lightning Network, but in a centralized way. That is also a solution that could work. It's kind of like sending payments between accounts on Binance, for example. That's also off-chain transactions. Many people today, they don't send Bitcoin transactions. They send transactions like from Binance to Binance. Then it's actually off-chain, right? Because you can send on the back end. And then you can save on fees, and it takes less time. Obviously, if you send $1 billion or even $1 million worth of Bitcoin, then you want to have the security of the blockchain. But if you send just a cup of coffee worth of Bitcoin, then you don't really care too much about the full decentralization of Bitcoin and the security of Bitcoin. So centralization could be fine for these kinds of transactions, or actually at least some degree of centralization. But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing. I just want to see something like this gets developed so that it's ready for adoption, because right now we don't really have anything that mainstream people are using.
So what is all this this infrastructure or these adoption, this legislation mean, in these poor countries? What is it? It's I mean, how realistic is it for okay, it's great. Now it's legal tender, but what does that mean as far as actually being adopted and used? Can we expect to see this have a price impact, in the immediate term, or what do you guys think?
Well, my opinion is that I hope that obviously the fact that El Salvador in and of itself has Bitcoin as legal tender is not going to impact the price of Bitcoin. But of course, indirectly, this is huge because someone has to be first, right? And then what I'm hoping for is a domino effect where more countries follow, because obviously it's always, no one wants to be first. But now someone was already out there. Someone was first. And now I think that more countries will see that this is something that is even on the table. It's an option. And the countries where the currency is failing, or countries that are being harassed by the United States through the dollar somehow, these countries might be the first ones to follow El Salvador, I believe.
You know what it is? I think, Kyle, as well, to be honest, you cannot drive adoption in a country if you don't make something a legal tender like they did. Why would other companies, why would youth, why would young people now start to build businesses? They were not legally allowed to build businesses that could accept Bitcoin. I think just the first small step now will drive the adoption, because now everybody understands, oh shit, now we can start to build. We can start to build, we can earn money, we get a, what is it? I think even the president gave away $30 worth of Bitcoin to every citizen that wants. This is going to lead to that adoption. This is going to lead to development, because now they need to build solutions to use that money that they are giving for free. And I think that they have two very strong things there. One, they know that they need to give their citizens some store of value instead of that US dollar, because they all believe that is one that is going to collapse. They don't want to be, you see, the seagulls are like talking with me. So they all want to have a store of value. And at the same time, they want to drive adoption of something. So for me, there's no much more bullishness in this. It's and Lightning Network, yes, it has its ups and downs, but it will work at the end. Email at the beginning was also shitty. Hives was also shitty. It evolved to Facebook, which is one of the biggest companies of the world. Yeah, maybe Lightning is not that big now yet, but we are all living this revolution, and El Salvador is a country that's taking the lead. And I cannot more applaud it than we need to go there. We need to have houses now in El Salvador as well.
and I think there's something interesting to be said too about Carl's point, and I think that for all of us who are true crypto fanatics and have crypto in our blood and our soul, for us who are privileged enough to be able to afford the network fees, for sending each other Bitcoin back and forth, and to be able to, be technically competent enough to be able to trust ourselves and storing our own assets. That's great for Bitcoin, and the world isn't there yet. And the thing that I recognize more and more is that there will be this this blend or this bridge that at first I was back in 2015, 14, I was very naive, thinking that we could basically skip this bridge and go from a centralized to a decentralized world, and that was very optimistic and very naive thinking. But one of the things I was thinking about in someone like El Salvador, for example, is once you make it legal tender, that means the banks and institutions have to start accepting it as a form of a loan, as a savings and whatever, and they will be custodian, which means that when you do a transfer, if you and I are both in El Salvador and we do a transfer to each other using Bitcoin, it doesn't go on chain, right? It's a centralized, digital numbers on a screen, and that won't cost anything. But it will hold the value, being a deflationary asset. So it's good for countries like that where they have a reliable currency that they believe will appreciate in value over time versus massively depreciate, like a lot of the other currencies that we see in the world. I think that's something that I've come more and more to the realization over time.
I had one little thing to add on there, Kyle. It's interesting you kind of brought up the point of institutions and banks and this and whatnot as it applies to Bitcoin. This is a little bit of a different, I guess, adaptation of adoption, but interesting enough, today Compound, which is a kind of decentralized money market protocol on Ethereum, announced that they have a new product which is specifically targeted for institutional companies to essentially lend dollars, like US dollars, into USDC, and then taking a fixed rate 4% APR using the Compound protocol, which is kind of interesting. I think it's geared at fintech startups and companies who are sitting on cash and want to get exposure into crypto. Obviously this is a bit more of a centralized way to do it, but at least they're participating in something that's as new and novel as DeFi in a major way, and better than depositing that US dollars in a shitty bank account making God knows what. I'd much rather make 4% on my USDC and earn some comp.
100%. This is the big, for those of you who don't realize what's going on right now. Behind the scenes there is a lot of stuff happening to allow traditional finance to participate in a DeFi world, and them trying. I've been pitched some of these projects and they're confusing as hell because these guys are trying to operate within regulatory environments that are very restrictive and bureaucratic, and trying to create DeFi products for institutions. And it's a very very complex and complicated world. But I do think that that we might be underestimating the power of alts still. Carl, you said that you don't think that maybe we might not see another alt run for 6 to 12 months. So to touch on a couple of things, like one of the things that I had always witnessed before too was the lengthening of the market cycles. And this is something that people had always been talking about, was that each cycle will get progressively longer and longer. And that's why when, just last week, the last couple of weeks, everyone on the crypto Twitter was saying that, we're entering into a multi-year bear market and it's over and we're all screwed and wrecked and blah, blah, blah. I just couldn't, from so many different aspects, none of that made any sense with all the major news that we hear around, with it. And then even from just a market cycle thing, like I said, Carl, where they're getting longer and longer, and they will actually start to be less dramatic as well from the highs and the lows as it becomes more and more adopted. I always say that we will hit a point of saturation where everybody that wants to hold Bitcoin eventually one day will, and we'll see dramatically less volatility at that point. But I do feel like we're going to see I feel like we're massively oversold right now, and we just need a little bit of positive momentum to kick things off. But I guess one of the questions I have for you guys right now is we do know that the things like the stock market and financial markets are dramatically out of proportion to the actual underlying economies that are going on right now, right? And this has been something for a while, but COVID has basically wrecked the entire world, and people just aren't making money. A lot of people are depending on government subsidies and things like that to make money. And so one of the things I've been seeing on Twitter is people asking where's the money going to come from to pump into this next leg of the bull run? And then one of the answers people give is, well, it's going to come from institutional money. And then one of the arguments to that is, well, institutional money typically doesn't affect the markets because it's usually OTC. And then I say to that, well, eventually everyone, like the Michael Saylors and the Teslas and all the rich people that aren't buying to trade, they're just going to buy and hold, and the OTC markets will dry up, and people will have no option but to eventually buy on the markets, and that will affect the price. So, where do you guys think we are right now? Is it with effect to the current state of the actual underlying economy, how a lot of people are hurting right now, and how do we expect to see the market go so much higher? Because I don't know, I would feel like all of us on this call are probably under the assumption or the feeling that, we're going to be at 100K plus by the end of the year. I don't know if that's true, but I think, Carl, you said that. Didi, I'm guessing, how do you guys feel about that? And I guess I just gave you 50 different talking points, so just jump in. Whatever you want.
Yeah, the beautiful part, Bitcoin just broke out, so that's really nice. You're almost at 37K, so that's nice.
Holy shit! Nice.
You know what it is?
Smash the likes, guys. The more likes we get on the show, the more viewers, the higher the price is going to pump.
Yeah, I think that what you just said is completely right. But for me, if you look at the bigger perspective of what is happening in the world, you already talked about COVID. I prefer to call it just a flu. If we talk about that, then we know that the goal of that whole shit show is 2030 to have everybody happy without that they own anything. You know, that is what Mr. Klaus Schwab said. So if you know that, then you know that they want to make people dependent on a universal basic income. And if you know that they want to make people dependent on a universal basic income, where is this universal basic income coming from? They need to print a shitload of money or US dollar, digital US dollars, USDC, to provide people of universal basic income. Because if the people are not working anymore for the money, they need to create money to keep the people happy and to keep the people in enslavement. So they will keep printing this shitload of money, because else they will not be able to, cover up the inflation, cover up the universal basic income, cover up all the debts they are making, pay for all the wars that they are going to do to invade countries to seize their mining equipment, because all those countries are now evading the US sanctions because they now mine Bitcoins. Iraq, Venezuela, they use Bitcoin to import and export for goods, but also for weapons. So there will be a war, but they will go to invade one of those countries and tell them, you need to stop incentivizing your power plants to mine Bitcoin now. That's illegal, There will always be financial need for war, and also for a universal basic income, and also for other things. So I think this printing, that is not going to stop. Or we need to make it stop by making some new money that is more usable, better, trustable, unconfiscatable, and all the other fundamentals, and then, grow like an all-thing grows. And then we take over that, and then in combination, but still, Kyle, decentralizing the world. I know you believe that in 2015, and I know a lot of projects now understand and want to use KYC at the moment. I just keep saying, I spoke to some people in Tulum as well, and they have these KYC regulated voting platforms where people can buy Bitcoin by doing KYC. And then I asked him in the presentation, so if that is the solution, so how can Bitcoin then become a peer-to-peer cash to those people that don't have the ability to do KYC? Not. I think we still need to keep that dream big to provide to people as well that are not able to do KYC. But that's just my sole,
100%.
opinion.
Okay, I want to talk about altcoins now, and I know Carl can't add a whole lot of value when it comes to altcoins. And have a wonderful day sailing, Carl. Thank you for coming on the show, man. Miss you, buddy, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me on, and let's do it again soon. Yeah.
Enjoy
Cheers,
the family time, Carl. Enjoy the family time.
Bye bye. Okay, now that Carl's gone, we can talk about some alts. And but before you guys know, behind the scenes, Carl does have heavy bags of a lot of alts, right? So doesn't like to talk about it because he has a responsibility to his viewers where he's confident in Bitcoin, just doesn't have the time to learn about everything else going on. But before we jump into that, I just wanted to remind everybody watching, like, we're doing something pretty crazy on this show, and thank you to everybody, who is participating in this massive giveaway. And like I said before, my goal is to make sure that we have $1 million or more that we're giving away on this show. And right now we've got all these projects: HoDooi, Polytrade, Finance, Ali, Pera, Formation Fi, EmiSwap, Omni, Plutos, Bright Union. All these projects have generously donated private sale allocations to this show and the viewers. And guys, these are private sale allocations, most of them. And that, and in an altcoin market, a private sale allocation, I mean, it's as good as a 5 to 30x, and some of the time even better. So right now, the current value with a lot of these things not even traded on the market yet is already $135,000. And we're going to continue to get projects to contribute to this giveaway to make it the biggest giveaway. I don't know if it's ever on YouTube, probably not, but maybe, especially if we get into an altcoin season that's super bullish, like we see another crazy December bull run, and we get another 10 or 15 of these projects, to contribute. We might see a $3, $4, $5 million giveaway, and that would be exciting as hell. So make sure that you're tuned in every single week, because we're paying attention to everyone who's commenting. You have to be subscribed. Make sure that you share it. The more that you contribute, and make sure that you guys tell everyone about the show, because I have to have a massive audience. The more participation we get, the more sharing, the more coverage it gets, the more that projects want to contribute. You know what I mean? Like we really want to get as much on here as possible. And the bigger audience we have, the more viewers, the easier it is for me to convince these projects to put to donate to this cause. And I want to change some lives here, guys. I know that, that this much we can donate to our giveaway to a lot of people who could really, really use it. And I'm really, really excited to do it. And so instead of me, and these guys, these projects, this is extremely generous of them. And I want to give them a proper, spotlight. So starting next week and every week after that, we'll give a quick segment. It'll be, 3 minutes long, something like that, 5 minutes long, for each project to come on and tell you a little bit about what they're doing, just so they properly get to tell you about the project. And also, guys, every single one of these projects I've spoken to and I've vetted, and I think all of them I've invested into as well. So it's not like we're just taking anybody who wants to come on and promote their product. These are projects that we have invested into. I know the team, and I feel confident in letting them speak to you about what they're building, and it's all pretty exciting stuff. So that's that. So let's go into a little bit of protocol and talk about the world of that. Let's see what the traditional world of, where is this video here somewhere? The traditional world of, well, I don't know which is it, this one? Let's see.
That you remember you had any new views on Bitcoin? It's held. That you remember you had said if it held 30,000, does that mean you go back in at 30?
I went into Ethereum this time. I went back into Ethereum because Bitcoin held 30. I like Ethereum because people actually use it much more to be able to buy things, and I'm going to continue to buy Ethereum. I just think it's just got a little more game because when you go buy an NFT, anything like that, everybody wants it in Ethereum. It's more of a currency.
What do you think? There's a lot of people. This is the problem with the traditional world versus the people that are really deeply in crypto. I don't disagree with the fact that maybe it was a good investment decision. I do think that maybe there's more upside to go, and just purely because of room to grow. And I think that Ethereum is still dramatically undervalued. There's also this idea of the flippening. What do you guys think, that we're ever going to see anybody surpass Bitcoin?
I think my version of the flippening would be not necessarily anything over Bitcoin, but consensus over consensus. So I think proof of stake will overtake proof of work as a total, in terms of consensus mechanism, total market cap, at some point. Again, ETH 2.0 is coming. I'm not saying this is happening anytime soon, but a lot of the major protocols, the layer ones out there, are proof of stake. So there's potential for that to happen. We have all the Cosmos ecosystem players. You have Polkadot, obviously. It's a layer 0, Solana, ETH 2.0. But I don't think anything's taken over Bitcoin anytime soon.
Polkadot versus Cardano, who wins?
Polkadot. Hands down.
Didi, what about you? What do you focus on right now? Are you investing in things? Are you spending a lot of time with your family? What are you doing?
Yeah, working a lot. I should be enjoying life, but I'm working. No, you know what? I make 2 videos a day, Kyle. So 2 videos. One is a TA video, what you mentioned, but I also make daily a family video. Yeah, I show the world how we as a Bitcoin family are living, because a lot of people want to know. They still don't understand. At the same time, we are recording 2 documentaries for a huge brand that I can't say the name yet. I need to sign a document. I need to sign a non-disclosure agreement, but we already talked about that a long time ago, and it's the biggest one of the world. And you're recording a documentary. We did already record in Mexico. Now we recorded in Spain, and next week they are going to fly here to Portugal and they film again with us. And then they are going to chase me down when I visit a beautiful Thailand and visit you guys. And this documentary is going to be created in the next 6 months. It's a huge one, big mainstream name. So that is what I'm doing now, having the family life. My oldest daughter is 16, so she's hunting the guys. So I need to keep an eye on her as well a little bit.
You don't keep an eye on her.
No,
you do not keep an eye on her. You do not. Guys, I know Didi. I have seen. He is like, when he was living, he would tell her to go out and chase boys. Like, go put your. It's quite a different. This is one of the things I really love about Didi and his family is like, it's completely unconventional, unconventional. There's no not saying things in front of their children, holding back discussions about sex or cussing or whatever. It's, and I think that, from what I observed, his kids really, they feel almost like peers in a way where they have the freedom to be themselves, express themselves. I mean, his youngest daughter is just, he's got the biggest attitude I've ever seen of anybody.
It has grown. It has grown worse, Kyle. It has grown worse.
I imagine so, yeah.
But I can tell you one short story about the documentary. So they were filming with us. That's just one day. It's going to blow your mind. So they were filming with us, and they were filming me and my wife in the in the kitchen. We were having a discussion about what we would do: leave Mexico, go to Europe. And then Jessa comes up and she has the thing in there, and she's like, "Look what I found." So that was the beginning of that day. And my wife and I were, that's in the documentary. And it also was something that open-minded families, are not afraid to share. But then in the afternoon, I was invited into this beautiful place of a spiritual woman that was doing a meetup. I went there and I took my oldest daughter. I said, "Come, join me. It's going to be cool." And then she held that meetup in the cenote, in a beautiful cave. But when we arrived, everybody was naked. So I have there my oldest daughter of 16. Yeah, guys running around with naked dicks and all that stuff. So that's all. That was just one day of the documentary. I was like, that happens again in our life. Yeah. Sorry.
Amazing. Waiting for documentaries, a lot of people say, and I think it's great that we're all like, I love this. Like JP, I was really happy to see that you guys are doing this reality show, man. It's amazing, and because I want people to see what our lives are like. It's actually amazing. It's super fun. What is it like, JP, to have a camera following you around all the time, and how it, are you guys? Do you find that your team gets nervous about talking about things in front of a camera? Is there like, how do you deal with all that?
Yeah, good question. So we've actually only done like 4 episodes, so it's only been about a month, and we're still getting used to it. In terms of like having a camera in front, I think it's pretty natural for me. I've just been used to it, I guess, from like interviews to do with crypto for a while. I've just never had a problem in front of a camera. For others, obviously, they might be a little bit more shy. I mean, our team's growing pretty quickly, so like, we actually had a kid coming on who's one of our UX UI designers, and I knew I was gonna hire him, so I didn't even bother asking him that or telling him that we were going to be bringing a cameraman to shoot his second interview when he was talking to me. So this type of thing for some might be a little bit daunting, but he hung in there and it was fine. So it's definitely something you just got to get used to if you're going to be part of our team. I think it's a super engaging way for us to feel a little bit closer with our community, and in crypto, community is everything. And it's a good way to just share kind of like, a lot of things you just don't get to see us talk about, feel, our thought process on stuff. People think that you can just like click buttons and flip switches and you magically launch these products that work perfectly, and it just doesn't work like that. It's particularly if you try to make anything that's actually a decentralized protocol or a decentralized product. I mean, it's just not that simple. So trying to lift the veil on that a little bit is I think needed, and hopefully it'll make people a little bit more understanding of what we go through as crypto entrepreneurs, to be honest, because it's not easy sometimes.
Like JP said, I was one of the early investors in MantraDAO and still holding all my tokens, and I've actually got them all staked on the platform, and I'm making a ridiculous 30% a year, which is ridiculous. Like I'm actually making more in interest every year on staking these tokens than a lot of people would make in a couple of years of a career. Like how sustainable is a staking model like that? This DeFi, it seems like it just seems surreal compared to traditional banks and things like that. And you guys are building a DeFi product that is yield bearing, and I'm taking full advantage of a 30% APY, but I just don't know how sustainable that is.
For sure. I mean, I think part of the reason that we have not only inflationary elements like these staking rewards, but we also have deflationary elements as well. I mean, we've been executing bi-weekly buybacks, for the entire course of this year. I think we've bought back, nearly 4 million tokens in, just a couple months. We also have a new product called the Mantra Pool, where essentially people spend their tokens to get into this pool, and they can win up to 25% of our validator rewards. So we run validator business for proof of stake notes, I think, for 20 or so different blockchain networks. And 25% of those weekly revenue streams go back to the community and get paid out. So we've launched it on Ethereum. We are launching it on BSC, I think, tomorrow, actually. I'm literally looking at it on my screen right now. And like, for example, if you come into that pool that week, you can win this week, I think, is 6,000 USDT or 6,000 BUSD on either chain. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper to participate on BSC. But we actually had a pretty good return on the money spent on the Ethereum side. I think it was like roughly 4 to 1 in terms of dollars spent. Sorry, in terms of token return over dollars spent. So that's pretty good return on capital, I would say. So these things, obviously, we don't burn our tokens. We remove them from the supply. And in the future, should there ever be a need to replenish this staking bucket, we could essentially pull on those, piles or wallets, through community governance and say, okay, we're running low. Let's replenish it in order to continue incentivizing participation on all of our different products. That being said, we have a 5-year plus runway of inflationary staking rewards that can, that we're actually not even spending as much as we need to. So like we have an emission schedule that we set out, let's say we get 100,000 tokens per day from that. Let's just say we use, maybe 50% of it, maybe, So we're actually building up a, kind of a war chest of staking rewards that eventually could be utilized, even further down the line. It might not take us 5 years. It might take us 10 years to actually run through that. And then we've already bought back 10 years worth of assets, 10 years worth of own. So you can imagine that, in theory, that token model should continually self-sustain for hopefully a long time to come.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, we have all these staking rewards on paid network that are part of the token allocation, and we didn't want to inflate the supply, so we haven't put them out there yet. We felt that the launchpad was a good way to incentivize people to hold the token regardless. But we do have them, and now that we're going for Parachain, that is actually a really good. I'm glad that we saved a lot of those because we will probably need them for the Parachain auctions. And that's the thing about running a project is like it's so dynamic and things change all the time, and you learn as you go what you can and what you can't do, and how to evolve. And so I'm glad that we have them. Speaking of Polkadot, and you guys are still full on into that ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're active validator for both Polkadot, for Kusama. We're building several different DeFi like lending products natively in Ink smart contracts. I think we're one of the only ones to actually be using Ink. A lot of people are using still EVM compatibility.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, for sure supporting that ecosystem heavily. Been interesting to see the Kusama parachain auctions. Congrats to Moonriver, who just won, I think, today. It seems
did
like
they? Nice.
yeah, they run number 2. It seems like Plasm, aka the new name A-Star. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. They just changed their name. They rebranded. Looks like they're going to be number 3. So shout out to Sota. I hope he gets it. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we're actively watching that ecosystem. And that being said, we've been around for almost a year now, and most of the products have been live on Ethereum just because we had to. We're live on BSC. We're launching a bunch of stuff on Polygon. We're also one of the top largest validators on Polygon. We're building things in Solana. We're Hecko even. We're not super. We're pretty agnostic. We like to support any different type of eco that we can. That's the goal.
So you guys both you guys both probably meet a lot of different people. A lot of different projects. People that are building projects. People come to you for advice or investment or business development, whatever. For everyone watching right now, what projects are you really excited about? How about tell me one project that's currently traded, maybe that's severely undervalued. You feel like, almost every altcoin is, but maybe that one that hasn't hit on the radar yet, or something you're really excited about, and then maybe something that's being built right now that's not released yet that people should be paying attention to.
TD, you want to go first?
I want to go first. No, do I want to go first? Kyle, there's only one.
I can go first. It's okay.
Good. It's okay for me. But there's only one project I love, Kyle. Bait.
I thought it was the family token.
No, the family token. Of course, we have an own token, but the token is created to incentivize people for watching our YouTube videos, and it's not a token to replace money. It's a token to do giveaways. I've also been making some Bitcoins in the last couple of years, and you want to give back a little bit, and I do that by creating a family token. And if people watch the videos, they scan a QR code, they earn some tokens, and they can change them on Uniswap. And it's just a nice thing to do. And now I'm giving away a lot of T-shirts every day because of the Euro 2020. If you predict the right score, I just like to give stuff. Mainly, if I look at tokens, I have a lot of paid. I never sold any paid yet. I have a lot of KSM. I have a lot of Polkadot because I believe the combination of them making it possible for me now to transact tokens by paying the fee of the token instead of a too expensive Ethereum or Bitcoin chain. Is of course always interesting. I'm still investing in a few other small companies. And the rest I'm building for charity. I just built a school in Mexico for poor kids. I'm now buying a house in Venezuela for 20 homeless children. And Portugal here, I'm going to invest in an orphanage. So the money I make with the T-shirts and all that stuff, I try to give as much as possible to people. And I believe in energy, and energy will come back. And till now, it has been working like that. And that's what I do at the moment. So for me, Polkadot, KSM, paid network, everything I do, I try to buy a little bit more paid because they're dirty cheap now. I should have sold at $6.
Well,
look at the face.
Okay, guys. JP, I want to hear from you really quickly because I'm actually already 5 minutes late and you guys will not believe this. The most unpleasant thing in the world I have to do after this call. And yes, IRS, if you are watching this, I'm going to address my taxes. And it's something that I haven't done for a long time. But that's what I'm ready. This is much I just want to stay on this show forever, so I don't have to go deal with it. But yeah, I mean, this is some
quick.
Go for it, JP.
So in terms of undervalued projects, I agree with Edie. So I won't go there. One ecosystem that I am super, super bullish on is the Terra money ecosystem. Big Luna holder, I won't say. I mean, I think that's undervalued. But in terms of just the general ecosystem, I think there's some really cool projects coming out there. Check out Anchor, which is a lending product that you guys can use. Ank token, I think, is undervalued. I'm a big LP supplying Ank UST liquidity. You can stake UST for 20%. That's unheard of. Stake your stablecoins for 20%. That's unreal. And they're actually going to be tying in all these other different projects coming out on Terra into these different kind of savings and lending products and synthetic products like Mir Protocol, which is the other one I'd like to talk about. Mir is pretty cool. It's like synthetics.
What is it?
There's actually users. Mir Protocol, MIR. Mir.
Gotcha.
It's like a fraction of the market cap of synthetics, SNX. It's cheap to use. You can get access to all different types of synthetic stocks. So I think just that kind of whole tokenized equities. That's not exactly tokenized, but it's synthetic equities is a cool space. The cool thing with Luna, or if you stake Luna, is actually you get all these airdrops. So I'm getting weekly airdrops of Mir. I'm getting weekly airdrops of Ank. Obviously, I'm getting my staking rewards in both Luna and all those other, national stablecoins, UST, MNT, KRT, all these ones. And I think they have like 20 different other projects that are coming out. Mars Protocol, Pylon, a bunch of these other ones. So you stake your Luna, you get all these things. Pretty soon, Mantra is going to be having native like Luna staking on our platform, and then you can also earn Ohm too. So stake Luna to the Mantra node, and you'll get all that shit. That's like stake one, get 50.
Nice.
So that's a whole eco that's pretty cool. One that we're actually working on that I think is pretty cool is a new project called Soma Finance. It's a joint venture partnership that we just launched, and actually I think it got announced today officially with a U.S. broker dealer called Tritorian Capital. So this is like, whereas Mantra is kind of like the wild, wild west, this is the more buttoned up, financial version of our whole eco. And it's going to be a regulated, U.S. regulated DEX that allows for multi-asset trading of crypto assets, actual tokenized equity, so one-to-one backed. You can get the dividends. You can actually then like yield farm with that. So imagine not just having a synthetic asset, but you can actually buy it, hold it, have the rights to it, earn the dividends on it, then yield farm, get airdrops of Soma tokens, all kinds of stuff, ETFs, all kinds of things. So that's one.
Nice.
Soma Finance, check that one out.
Sounds good, man. Okay, guys, I gotta run. Thank you for showing up today. Appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys here in Thailand soon. House of Dao.
For sure, man.
2 days, baby. 2 days. We're gonna start doing a lot more lifestyle content from there as well, showing you guys what it's like to be there. And everyone watching is invited, and it'll be so much fun when literally there's an entire village full of crypto people. It'll feel like a conference 24/7. And you guys will not believe the amount of value that you would get out from being surrounded by this type of environment. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Cheers so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for having us.
See you guys.
Didi.
See you,
brother.
Bye-bye.